Screaming what up to my 9 blocks, RP to Jalen. The cost of 30 years, free my savings. You know it's a party every time I link with David. Hit the booth and spit that hot in your face. I feel like Mason, I'm an East God. I really need a shrine built. Working to the tiz out while I got the time still. Trying to blow it every step like walking in the minefield. He might took it out the streets that's doing crime still. Beat the out of the beat, instrumental stained with blood. My whole family got my back, they stepping in the name of love. I've been kicking too crazy, baby. You can't touch it too heavy when the city flood and they be blaming us. When they stay talking, my it won't get touched. I feel like brick, baby. It's always crying, Carl Davis, he a big baby. Blues poking out my pocket, looking like I'm clip crazy. Acrobatics with Benjis and Jacksons make them flip. Hey, look, slides hit harder than the and they gon' leave a mark. It ain't hard to find them 9 blocks, never lead apart. Jumping in that water just to feed the sharks. Kicking down the door when we get in, the East gon' bleed. Screaming what up to my 9 blocks, RP to Jalen. The cost of 30 years, free my saving. You know it's a party. Every time I link with David, hit the booth and spit that hot in your face. I feel like Mason.
You're trying to eat the stars. I'm a take her out to get some Waffle House. Melvo told me gotta take a shot before I leave the block. In the streets, side out in my ops, call me petty wine. Haters instigating, why these investigating? I be on the elevator through the storm and revolution. Got me dedicated, in heaven, resting daily. I just got a baddie pink, melanated. Bando said brand new Glock, make him get back. Attitude on Curtis Jenkins Jr., you get chin check. I can't feel my face on the weekend. Dipset, cat got that when she take a picture, hip check. I be getting zooted. I be getting booted. It's the undisputed from the boondocks like I'm Huey, handling my duties and I'm crashing out and going loony 9 blocks. When we come together, it's a future.
Screaming what up to my 9 blocks, RP to Jalen. The cost of 30 years, free my saving. You know it's a party every time I link with David. Hit the booth and spit that hot in your face. I feel like Mason. Screaming what up to my 9 blocks, RP to Jalen. The cost of 30 years, free my saving. You know it's a party every time I with David. Hit the booth and spit that hot in your face. I feel like Mason.
Man, that was Reggie and Mason, your face 9 block out of Baytown, Texas. This your boy Reckless Talk. This is episode 90. Man, we got the Houston icon in the building. Infamous Tex. What's going on, my guy?
What's up? What's up, my brother, man? How you doing? Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear, man. Hear you loud and clear, man. I appreciate you taking time out today, brother, man. I know you're a busy man. We got Fat Boy in the building. What's going down? He said, what he do in Tex? For everybody that don't know, man, let's give a little background, man. We've been trying to put this episode together since July, June, July.
Father. I want to say it was Father's Day exactly because I think we lost Pokey that later on that night.
Yeah, yes, so, sir. Man. Yes, you're right. Yup, Father's Day. Yes, exactly. That's actually we took this picture right here on Father's Day, right here. Me, you, and Jessica Jeans. You showed right. Yup.
Man, hey, that was a good little
man
community
event. The Father's Day
giveaway, you know, that was live.
Yeah, that was dope. That was super dope for real. So big shout out to you, man. First and foremost, man, congratulations on your award, man of the year. That's dope, bro. That's super dope, man. Big shout out to you, my guy, for real. That's super dope.
Thank you, brother.
Man, it's saying that. Let's get started, man. Like I said, we got an H-Town legend in here. Let's tell you about what side of Houston you from and what was it like growing up in Houston?
Man, I couldn't imagine growing up any other place, to be honest. I feel like I'm the most Houston man in the room half the time because, you know, I'm myself Houston hip-hop head or hip-hop archivist, hip-hop fan, however you want to say it. But, you know, and then to be making a name, you know, here in the Houston scene, you know, the years later, man, it's amazing, man. It's dope, you know, getting a lot of people on board with what we're doing with, you know, with Hustletown Network. But it's amazing, bro. I feel blessed just to be in this position right now, bro. And I never thought it would be something like this. You know, I started as an artist, so, you know, to think of, you know, that and the dreams of that and then being in this side, it's just kind of, I never thought it'd work out this way, but hey, this is what I've always been that guy that's been good at connecting things. So, you know, that was kind of my calling, was just to be more this guy. But hey, I'm blessed, bro. I'm happy it turned out the way it did.
Yeah, you definitely killing the game, man. Like you said, you started out as an artist. That's why I actually wanted to touch on that first. You started out as an artist in a group. Let's talk about that, man. How that come about?
So I started doing music. Well, so I'm originally from Northwest Houston, which is where I'm at right now. Shout out to Northwest 290. Went to school all out, really all over. Acres Homes, born in Acres Homes, DeSoto and Antoine. My block is gone now at this point. Candlelight Trails. Originally where I went, Inwood Elementary, all that. Then I came out here to the Beltway side over here by Jersey Village. Went to Jersey Village High School. But again, some of the greatest also went there. Paul Wall, Cam. We've had some really good legendary alumni at that school. But yeah, man, grew up in this area, grew up in the early 2000s as far as, going to high school in the early 2000s. So, started, following like Swisher House and all that stuff, Paul, Cam. And, it motivated me to do music like most of us around that era, once we saw Swisher House CDs and seeing how easy it was, how they were pressing them all up, we all figured out what the formula was. Everybody was doing the same thing. And, we were one of the first ones, I would say, that were, doing that right in this area. Of course, after, Swish House and all that, but we, it motivated us, and it started with just, freestyles after school. Me and Candy Red Bread, got some old freestyle tapes from back in the day, because he went to Jersey Village too. And so, I got some long lost stuff with him, and then I got a couple other people. We got to do some, freestyles, and it just really started into that whole, what Swish House was doing. It wasn't really no songs, nothing like that yet, but we started as SOT Records. Now it's straight out of Texas. I continue that SOT brand, turn it into a show, and now we got artists repping SOT also. But originally, it was SOT Records. It wasn't straight out of Texas at the time, though. It was 713 spelled out. So it was as Houston as possible. It was SOT 713.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until about 3-4 years later. We started that in 2003. So 20 years ago, we started SOT Records at 713 Records. And then around 2006, I started realizing, it's getting bigger than just Houston. So we turned it into straight out of Texas, which worked out a lot better anyway. So, came up with the Texas logo and all that other stuff. So it was similar to, there's been transitions of the logo since then. But yeah, man, started 2001, 2002 doing music, started label 2003, did music all the way up to 2015. I feel like I have a good connection with the streets and with the artists nowadays, because I was an artist myself, and I was out there shooting in the gym with them. And a lot of these guys remember me from the Toke bars and from the Zona Latinas and all these other places that were popping throughout the years, being there right there with them. So I take that as a lot of time that I gained a lot of connections and networking at the time, because I will say that one thing that kept me in the game since the transition of doing music was the fact that when I was an artist, I had a whole label, but I was the still every department of the record label still in my head at the time. I was still making all of our graphics. I was setting up all the studio time. I was setting up the shows with promoters and all that. So I got to learn all the aspects of it versus just trying to write and go to the studio and all that. So that was the birth of, I guess, Tex. Even just coming up with the name, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to be something Houston. I think I just picked out the name, to be honest with you. And I was Lil Tex at the time. It was just Lil Tex of SOT Records. And, I had about, I've always had about 6, 7, 8 people in the group at one time. We had different eras of the group, throughout that have came and gone. But, I'm still here, bro. To be honest, I'm still one of the only ones still out of all the group stuff. I'm still the one that's here right now, still making plays. But, I was doing it just as hard back then. I just didn't know. And it was on such a smaller scale. My mind did not even grasp how much bigger it really could have been in the long run.
Yeah,
so, man.
You've been killing it 20 plus years, man. You've been killing it, man. For real. Big ups to you, my guy. For real.
Thank you.
I do my research when he said I met Tex Applebee's. That's what's up. Hell yeah.
Hey, that's right, man. Applebee's, that's my second home. I was gonna do this interview at Applebee's, but I said, you know what? It'll probably be some music. It'll be people getting crunk already. It probably won't be Wi-Fi, all that. I said, you know what? Let me just stay put. I'm over here where my son stays right now. Because I watch him throughout the day too. I like to spend time with him. I do a bunch of different hustles, bro. Like throughout the day, I'm just all over the place. But so I'm posted up right now on the Wi-Fi. Make sure we get this good signal and get it live and direct. Fat boy,
Yes,
what up,
sir.
man?
Yes, sir. And saying that, this your boy Reckless Talk, man. We are live on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Facebook. This episode is brought to you by the Reckless Talk Podcast and Houston City Beat Storytellers of Houston. Like I said, we live on all three platforms. We're gonna put this episode up on Houston City Beat website. Y'all check it out. Great podcasters. You got great things going on. Big shout out to everybody doing that. Man, let's talk about Hustle Town Network, man. How that come about, brother?
Well, let's see. So I started that with Jessica Jeans. She, Jessica was in radio way before I ever got involved with radio. She's been doing radio since the mid 2000s. She's been doing it for damn near 20 years. She was doing radio in San Antonio for a long time until around 2015. She came out here to Houston to work with Radio One. At the time, it was Boom 92. It was our classic hip hop station we had for a while with her and Rob G, the General. They had the Juice Crew. So, she was doing radio. I was just driving trucks. I was driving 18-wheelers, man. I ain't gonna lie. I had stopped doing music. I was just focused on just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. And she mentioned that at the time in 2015, and well, actually no, 2015 is when she moved out. 2017 is when it started. So 2017 is when the market, Radio One wanted to start getting a lot more having community or even a relationship with the artists out here in the streets. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, we had like Kiati having the On the Radar platform at the time. Other jocks had their certain stuff that they did on the side, aside from just be a jock. That interacting stuff going on with the artist. So, on our side, we try to come up with. She wanted to come up with something, also something I guess that was coming from the Latinos too, because there was a lot of Latino artists that really weren't getting showcased as much, or that had the big we had a big name, I guess 20 years ago, back when SPM was out. Latinos were popping, but for a while it's been kind of dormant on that, and there really hasn't been a spotlight on the Latin hip-hop scene. So we started Hustle Town Network, and it was something that was created by Latinos, but it wasn't just for Latinos, really for everybody, for Houston, for the K Renos, for all the legends we have out here, the Klondike Cat, Street Military, and of course still the South Park Mexicans, Lil Bing, and all the other legends as well. But it picked up, and it kind of became a Latino thing from the jump. Just off top, it was just kind of a go-to place where it was like it was a lot of Latins, and we were showcasing a lot of people that just really wasn't getting the recognition and the eyes on them. So we just started something small. It was supposed to be something for the Box website, like a little 5-minute weekly little segment thing, maybe highlight a music video of the week. Really, to be honest, it was kind of supposed to be like a news fix. You remember News Fix?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I liked how News Fix was doing their thing, which they're not around no more, but the way they presented their news, it was just Houston and very local. I mean, even the instrumentals that they played in the background were like Houston beats. They had Bun B had his own segment, Bun's B, and da-da-da. So I liked the way they did that as news. And I was like, man, then they would incorporate local stuff. And it would just make people like myself want to watch the news versus the boring news, right? So I kind of took it off of that play right there. That was kind of the original general. What it was supposed to be was nothing more than just a vlog thing that comes out for the website. I wasn't thinking it was going to be half as big as what it is now. But of course, later on throughout the time, we developed different shows, different concepts, stuff that worked, stuff that didn't work, and now we got a lot of what we do have now. But yeah, it started, like I said, 2017. Shout out Jessica Jeans too, because she's a huge, huge backbone to the birth of Hustle Town Network. And of course, 97 on the Box, Terry Thomas, everybody who supported the idea and thought it was a great idea, for Jessica to do this, involving myself also. And that also got me at 97 on the Box, So we started Hustle Town Network 2017. By 2019, I was offered a position as well, because, I mean, we were killing it. Like our imaging, everything was giving the Box a run for its money, I'd say. Like it was like, well, shit, the Box should be looking this good as how Hustle Town is looking, at least on the social media aspect. So, the opportunity came up, and they're like, hey, see if Tex wants to come work in the promotions, department, and Jessica's the programming. Most places like that, they don't hire, relatives or spouses, stuff like that too. So just for it to be for them to find a way to make it happen. Like, bro, you know, Texas, let's get them on board. And then from there, you know, I started showing my ass on the 97.9 The Box scale and doing their social medias, and you know, and it worked out. And it's always, and I really feel like we did bridge a gap and fix a relationship between the box and the streets. Because at the time, you already know, for like the past, you know, maybe 10, 15 years, it wasn't really the best relationship with the streets and artists in the streets versus, you know, the station not being supportive and da-da-da. So, you know, one of the main things we did, I feel like, is we cleaned up a lot of those relationships. You know, one thing I will say on your show right here, this is something nobody knows. I haven't even posted. I'm probably going to post it later on tonight or something. We're going to announce it. But we literally just did an interview with K Reno at 97.9 The Box last night. And we're going to be airing that sometime next week. So if you're an SPC fan or K Reno fan or anything, you know the story and the history behind, you know, K Reno versus 97.9 The Box and all this stuff that's been the streets, you know, for almost 20 plus years. You know, we fixed that. You know what I mean? And we got, you know, the man, the wizard himself to come up to 97.9 last night and do an awesome, amazing interview. And it's going to be airing next week on Jessica Jean's show on the Late Night Hustle. So again, this is just some of the examples of how so much has changed once we got on board and did what we did, how it really changed the relationship with the station and the streets, you know?
And so big up to you guys, you and Justin. You just mentioned, you made a comment about how bridge the gap from the street to 97.9. It's crazy you said it, because I just had a conversation today, probably about a few hours ago. One of my boys hit me up, was like, I didn't even know 97.9 was still around. And talking about after the whole thing with Kiati went down and everything, you know what I mean? He left with Kiati, like basically like he said. So for you guys to come back and to mend everything, to mend something you guys had nothing to do with, you know what I mean? That's mad dope. That's mad dope, for real, and mad respect, for real. Before we continue, man, you got any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to you, bro, for having me on. You know, everybody who is tapped in right now, you know, be sure to follow my guy, man, because he's making a bunch of noise right here. I've been seeing you really since we first talked. I've been just seeing you a lot on my timeline and a lot of stuff you've been doing. So, you know, of course, to yourself and everyone else who is also putting on for the city, because we need more platforms. This was always the goal for Hustle Town Network. It was never really a goal to be like, we want to be the one platform and the only. Like, we need more platforms. We need more people like yourself who can either, you know, put aside the music stuff and focus on opening the doors. Because remember, I was an artist too. I could easily be trying to do music and putting my videos all on, making everybody eat my stuff all the time too. But I kind of had to make almost a self-sacrifice to really, for this to really work. So for people who like yourself who would go this route and opening doors and doing interviews versus just trying to make it about themselves, because in the hip hop realm, it's kind of a self-gain game. You know, a lot of people want to get put themselves on any opportunity they can. So it takes some, you know, it takes some strengthness and some, you know, takes some discipline, I guess you could say, right? A sacrifice, a whole bunch of different things you could say to really to put on for these artists. And this is what our artists need. We need more platforms like this. We need more local showcases. You know, even what Kiati's doing. You know, doing local showcases, giving artists an opportunity. Same thing as Hustle Town Network. You know, artists, I feel like they need that. Something we didn't have coming up, you know, 20 something plus years ago, you know, and now we're changing it from every artist feeling like, I gotta be on the radio. Now they want to be on these platforms, because even radio, you know, isn't the now ultimate all-time goal no more for these artists to hit, which it shouldn't be. You know, there's a lot of, some of the biggest artists out there. You can ask some people who their favorite artists are, and still, it might, you know, so there's a lot of platforms and opportunities for artists to get their name out. And I'm glad that there's a lot more, you know, people like yourself, myself, that are just wanting to help open these doors for these other artists. So, man, so shout out to all them. And of course, shout out to the ones who support us and that, you know, support Hustle Town Network and keep us going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you, my guy. Man, we got a bunch of artists. We live on YouTube and Facebook, and we got a bunch of artists in here right now. Man, we got Half Breed in the building. What's going on, my guy? For y'all, check him out, man. He's also up for an award this year for Best Artist. A big shout out to my guy for that, man. Man, we got Mason Your Face in the building. Mason Your Face. Start the episode. Man, we got a bunch of people here. I don't want to start naming people. I don't want to forget nobody. But man, I shout out to everybody. I see y'all in the comments, man, for real. Big shout outs to my guy, man. My guys, Low Rocket Man, Roll Man with Urban Outfitters, used to Rocco, PSK 13, Rich Alexander, Ozzy the DJ. Big shout outs to all you guys, for real, for real. Man, I appreciate every single one of y'all. And back to what you were saying about what I do, man. I'm living my dream, brother. You know what I mean? What I do, I'm loving it, man. And for me, in my opinion, music fell off. Hip hop fell off bad. I don't know what it is, but it's my goal to get it back to where it needs to be, because there's so many amazing artists in this country. There's so many amazing artists in Houston, in Texas. And like I said, just that track we listened to earlier, you know what I mean? They out of Baytown, Texas. You know what I mean? They performed at our event a few weeks ago, and they had the place rocking. Everyone was going crazy, screaming, singing. Like it was dope, man. So I love what I do, man. I do it for the people, man. It's amazing, for real. It's amazing. The Fat Boy said, "Bring real rap back." Big time facts, for real. Mix B doing his thing, you know what I mean? So. Yeah, I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it, man. There's so much great things going on right now, man. And you do a lot of things for the community. Let's talk about that. I know you do get backs and drives and everything. Let's touch a little bit on that.
Man, it's a perfect time too, because we're getting into that season right now. I'm glad you mentioned that, because this of course we do turkey drives and toy drives, and the ones that we do. We help out with 50 Cent himself too. He does his turkey drive. This is going to be his, second annual. He did one last year. We'll be helping out with all that stuff. There'll be a bunch of different ones. Teddy Tuesday does a couple of them. And Hustletown Network, we support all those, and we're at all those. Now, what we do for sure is the Hustletown Shopping Spree and the Hustletown Toy Drive. We do that every December. We'll be doing that December 13th this year. It's going to be on a Wednesday. That's the Hustletown Shopping Spree. This is where we invite all the Houston rappers, artists, entrepreneurs, producers, anybody who's in that whole realm. We invite them out to the Walmart. Usually it's the one on 45 and Cross Timbers, the Northline location. I'll be releasing all the official details like later by next week. I'll be releasing all that. But we invite all the Houston artists to come out and help us fill up the 97.9 The Box van with as many toys as possible from the Walmart. So this is all artists coming out. And it's beautiful too. When we actually ring the bell and we have the little thing that K-Dog's talking on, a little mic, the blowhorn, whatever you call it, bullhorn. We everybody walking in at the same time. You're having all these artists in unity going in there to help give back, and that's something that we want to make that. That should be a hip hop law, really. If anything, like if you rap and you do hip hop stuff and all that. Because I tell people all the time, I'll be watching them stories all year long. I'll be seeing them post. I'll be seeing them flashing all that money. I'll be seeing them in the strip club, flexing all these diamonds and all that clothes and shit. Okay, well, come Christmas in November time, your ass needs to be in that community, putting on for your community, for your city, right? And no other artist, no other genre, I would say. Every genre has little stuff going on, but I feel like hip hop, that's what we need to be doing the most. And it also helps build bridge relationships with people who are not too into the hip hop community. We still have people who are old minded that think that we're a bunch of gangsters and we're out here not just being men and raising our family shit too. Like we have our certain way, but if we can show people that look, we can still come together during this time of the year, buy toys and help give back to the community. That's the major thing. So we do that. We're doing that December 13th. Again, location will be announced, but it's going to be a Walmart. We're usually doing it from like 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll have, my boy DJ Yams G. We'll have 97.9 out there. The Box, sweat, tents, DJ Sauce Park. A lot of familiar faces. And last year we had Peso as the face of it. I know he'll be back again this year. So, and we're working on getting that Mexican OT. Possibly D Baby, and that's just on the Mexican artist side. Plus, Flip and Exotic Pop and K Reno, other artists too, legends, new school artists. We try to get a couple of TikTok Mama, whoever we can get that's in the culture. Hey, we want them to come out, and TikTok Mama came out last year too. ESG, we've had some pretty good people, pretty well known names that have came out and helped gave back and bought stuff themselves too. SPM sends his kids out there to buy a whole bunch of toys. So overall, we get some really good interaction with it. So yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing. And then that following Sunday, which is gonna be December 17th, we'll be giving all the toys away at Church 633 out there by Amita. That's our church that we do a lot of our events at. And we have the artists give the toys out also. So people can get in line and kids can come in and families, they can come take a picture with the artist and get an actual toy from the artist themselves. All we do is just put the plays together. But at the same time, we want the artists to be the ones to also give that back. And just so they can have some good feeling in it, because it really does something to your heart and to your soul when you give back like that. And it just, I think it starts them off in a real good, 2024. They start off good, man. And we keep everybody, the vibes, everything good with the hip hop scene.
That's dope, man. That's super dope, man. I definitely would love to be a part of that for real. Let's go ahead and touch on the Limelight Media that dubbed you Man of the Year 2023. How did that come about? How did you feel for?
Let's see. So I know Miss Latoria Lemon. She's an angel. She does so much for the community as well. So she's she's a publicist for a lot of artists like Kiki Zero. She was Pokey's publicist. She's got a relationship with these artists, and I've seen her a lot of places. And she honored it was I want to say it was about 30 men altogether, first class men of Houston, including Zero, Kiki. Even Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles. There was some legendary people that were honored. So to be in that lineup, man, it was pretty dope. Even Jay Cook, Jonathan Cook from Radio One, my boss. So her, from what she told me, basically was just the community work, man. Just seeing me out there constantly working. You every time you turn on your social media, I'm somewhere doing something, and that's true. Like I don't even know how I get some, time of day to be able to do some of the stuff we do, but all that, along with, like I said, just the community work and just putting on for the artists was the reasons why she felt that, hey, you got to get your flowers. Like, man, you're really out here killing it. And it was an honor, bro, because it was a really nice award, a reason for me to really dress up, because you're lucky if you catch me in anything else but basketball shorts with the same standard Infamous Tex outfit. Like, okay, I got literally an Infamous Tex outfit. Like, those little memes that would come out and be like the Tex Halloween spirit outfit. It's some basketball shorts, a 97 out of box shirt, and a 97 out of box lanyard, and like
Facts.
and some running shoes or something. Like, that's my style. That's my stilo. I don't wear jewelry like that. I don't do all that other. I'm just as comfortable as possible because I'm just moving around so much. I can't wear flashy, pants, designer pants, and certain stuff with the belt. No, I'm not comfortable in that. So, it was a nice reason to come dress up. Of course, I went out in all full John Wick. You know what I'm saying? But people was like, "Hey, you cleaned up nice." So it was dope, man. It was a good. It was amazing to be honored at that. And we got a few more coming up too. Broadcast Houston Awards, and then we also got the Tex-Mex Southern Soul. That one's going to be the Ball to Your Fall. That's going to be an award ceremony also. So both of those are going to be in December. So really, it's going to be like 3 before the end of the year. And man, again, bro, I can't be any more honored enough, man. Like, I'm humbled at that stuff, bro, because man, I just be doing, just keep going. I just keep focusing, and I don't really look at some of the stuff that has been done. And when I do, I'm like, wow. When I do see, like, just leaving the YouTube on play, and I'm doing some stuff, and I'm seeing all these stuff that we've done throughout the years, I'm just like, wow, shit. Keep going. It makes me want to keep going.
Definitely doing a lot for the city and just music, the music game in general. Big shout outs to Leo. We got Leo watching from YouTube. He got a question. He said, "Good evening, Reckless and Infamous. I have a question. If you were not in the business of show, what other career would you have chosen?" I like that question.
That is a good question. Let's see. What other career would I have chosen? Man. Okay. Well, I'll say where I was going before I started this, I was starting to do films. So, I've been in a couple of films. I've done casting for films. I produced, and I even won an award for a documentary film that I did for Lil Jesse. He's an artist, if you're familiar with him, Lil Jesse. He's about maybe 14, 15 now, but he won a battle with cancer when he was like 9, 10 years old. And, and motivational story, but got to win an award. So I would say would be doing films. And that's what also kind of got me into this, because I had already did music, and then I started going into films. I actually stopped doing music so I can start doing films and doing, Netflix series and Amazon Prime stuff. and then it got into this. I mixed it filming and music, and that's how I
Yeah.
kind of, I guess, came up with Hustle Town Network. Also, was kind of the mix of doing both those things. So it would be films. I would have been probably a director. That's what I still do kind of now in a way. I still direct a lot of stuff we do. Hell, a lot of the events we do, I still call them movies damn near, because we making a movie when we pop out. But yeah, I would be doing some type of films, Netflix series, maybe some more acting. You know, that's definitely where I would have been right now.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it, man. You know, with you being part of 97.9 The Box, Hustle Town Network, Exotic Pop, you got a bunch of different things going on, man. That gave you a chance to meet a lot of celebrities and legends, man. Who's been your favorite person to work with so far, or your most memorable
50
person
Cent.
to work with? 50 Cent.
I would say 50, bro, because I was a huge 50 fan. And, you know, I got to meet a lot of other people. Of course, all the Houston legends, we met them throughout the years, met them multiple times. I got closer to them while working with the station. So, you know, I love seeing Slim, you know, Paul and all them too. Those are my guys, man. I was honored with them. But 50 was like, you know, because 50 just, you know, music wise, and then just him doing films, you know, again, myself, he's a producer. He produces, it's kind of like the route I would have wanted to go. It was kind of like a 50 Cent route. And to be able to meet him, and not only just meet him multiple times, but to be able to help him out with some of his turkey drives, been involved in a lot of stuff, rode the same vehicle, like stuff that's just like, wow, I never thought I would be there. And with this guy, you know, of course, you know, I met other ones. T.I. was another one that was pretty cool. Doja Cat, before she's kind of switched up her style a little bit now, but when she first came out, Doja Cat, that was my biggest crush. And to be able to meet her and work with her, you know, and of course, Travis saw them too, but I would say 50 was the all-time, like, whoa, you know, damn, did I just literally meet, you know, 50? I got to do John Witherspoon's last interview, which is Pops on Friday.
Man.
You know, I got that like maybe 3-4 days before he passed. His last interview was at Magic 102. His last Houston interview, he may have done something else after that, but I know he had a show at the Improv that night, and then maybe 4 or 5 days later, I found out he passed. I'm like, wow, but Pops from Friday, bro?
Yeah.
That was epic, man. That was epic, bro. But yeah, man, 50 all-time favorite. Meeting 50 was that was the one for me.
That's dope. I actually when 50 for big shout out to 50. He's doing big things for youth. I know when he first came out, he dropped with like 300 or 600,000 from 2 school districts. He's about to make major. He's already making noise in Houston, but he's about to make even more noise. I did a job for him when he first came out here. Yeah, he about to do some crazy things in Houston, for real.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Right,
He's bringing a lot of money back to the city.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go back to back when you was in your group. What was the name of that group? And from the research I've done on you, you stopped doing the music thing once your son was born. Is that correct?
No, well, no. I think I stopped. Let me see. My first son was born in 2010. I stopped finally in like 2015. It was a crazy story about how I stopped too, but it was like a blessing now at the end of the day. But it wasn't when he was born. It was years after. But I stopped. Well, the name of the group was SOT also. So SOT Records was the label, and then SOT was the group. So but yeah, SOT, and then we've just had multiple artists since then that have came and gone. But I stopped because I was in a toxic relationship at the time. It wasn't my baby mama. It was another chick after my baby mama. My first baby mama, shout out to my first baby mama. She's still cool and, you know, supporting. But I was getting out of a toxic relationship. And the worst thing that any rapper could ever dream of happened to me, which is where we're having a, you know, toxic, you know, hey, you need to get out. I'm getting her out of my shit because she was just being toxic as hell. And she grabbed my hard drive with all my shit and so much unreleased shit, about 10 something years worth of music, and just grabbed it and just threw that bitch on the ground, and completely Lil Tex and SOT Records just died that day. Right? It was bad.
Shit.
It was worse. And this is why, this is one thing I will tell artists: if you're watching this, if you're doing music, shout out to Sin Jeezy because he's good about doing this. Once you have the song, don't sit on this music. You put that shit out, and now we're on the streaming days. This was still streaming was going on, but I was late to the party. I was still putting out CDs in 2013, 14, 15. Like I was still more on that, selling out the trunk, and didn't quite know how to do streaming just yet. but I was still into the whole, you know, hey, you have to put out albums, you know, 10, 12, 13 song type stuff. So I would have a bunch of incomplete work, songs that, man, one day I'm gonna get this so-and-so, so-and-so. So you could just imagine, I had albums worth of work, hundreds of some songs that had never been released, or if they were only on burnt CDs for homies back in the mid-2000s type stuff. But I didn't have too much stuff that was ever released on any stream. Matter of fact, I don't have any music that ever made it to iTunes or nothing, because I never made that transition. And before I could, I lost all that music. And it literally, like I said, 2015 through 2017, I said, fuck it. I was just driving trucks out in LaPorte and driving 18-wheelers. And, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I was sour. I was mad at the world. I was, you know, mad at the radio and mad at all these other people that are blowing up. And I was that same guy. Oh, fuck the radio. They play all this new. They don't play the real shit. They need to play H-Town. I was that guy, right? We still have these guys to this day that don't like what's getting played on the radio and don't understand why, and why the same songs get played every hour, you know, whatever. There's a format to that now that I know, but I didn't know back then. But I ain't gonna lie, I was 2 years of just being very like a salty person. Wasn't into any. Oh, 1 second. Sorry. All right. I don't know how I had a call come in. Thought I put it on Do Not Disturb. But anyways, yeah, bro. So yeah, I lost all the stuff back then, bro. And then from that day, you know, Lil Tex was dead. And when I did do. All right, sorry. I don't know how another call came in. Damn, different people too.
That's cool. That's what happens when we live, man. We live in 5. Let's do it.
That's how live it is. The phone really be going off the chain. I'm surprised there hadn't been more calls. I thought I put on Do Not Disturb. It is still on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so yeah, that's when the music completely stopped for me. And once my music was gone and I was no longer into it no more, everybody who was around me, who was in my group, completely stopped too. But I continued. I was able to still navigate through this game and become who I am now today, because I was the guy, again, who was always making the phone calls, the guy doing our graphics. I shot all of our music videos, edited them myself. Like, I learned every aspect of the game. So again, another important thing for artists out there, learn every single aspect. All right, yeah, they're not letting up more and more.
Can y'all see me?
I can't see you right now, but I don't know if
you can't see me. Hold on, let me. Somebody just told me. Hold on, I'm gonna back out and come back in.
All right. So y'all tap in, man. Y'all hit that subscribe. My boy Reckless doing it big, man. Y'all hit that subscribe, man, and follow him on the Instagram, cause he killing it, man. All right, how you looking right now? I can't see you right now. Let me make sure mine is still on Do Not Disturb. Yeah, see, it's not. Yeah, disturb wrong.
All right, y'all good? You can hear me? We good? Good to go?
I can hear you good. I think your video may pop back in eventually. But
I'm still black.
Yes, sir.
My screen's still black. What the hell's going on? Oh, let me pop up. Give me 1 second. I don't know what's going on.
So while I'm on here, let me give another plug, man. Again, we got the Texas tour coming up. I'm just doing some quick plugs right quick, my boy. But yeah, Texas tour coming up 2024. Big news. We're going to be going all over Texas. We're going to tell y'all more about that here in a little bit. All right, Jay. I see you. Yeah, I see you. I see you back.
And you can hear me?
Yeah, it's a little choppy, but it's coming back in. Give it a second, or kind of do some moving around a little bit. Let me see. Yeah, it's starting to come back in. Go ahead and talk.
Yeah, we good? We good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
All right, cool. We back. All right, everybody can see me now. TJ said you can see me. All right, cool. We are back. Man, that's what happens when we live, man. Shit happens, you know what I mean? We actually gonna get to another song, man. Hardcore Kent, man. Right here. Great artist, man, out of Houston. And what I really respect about this dude, man, is what he's doing outside of the music game. You know what I mean? He's actually a teacher. You know what I mean? He's a music teacher, so he's doing a lot for these kids. He just did a raffle for one of his kids with a drum set. You know what I mean? So he's doing major things for the city too, man. So I definitely got to show him love, and he's an amazing artist. And so let me pull this up right quick. Yeah, this dude is legit for real.
Dope. Let's check it out.
Man, I appreciate everybody. Like I said, it's your boy Reckless Talk, man. We are live on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Facebook. This episode is brought to you by the Reckless Talk Podcast and Houston City Beat Storytellers of Houston. It will be uploaded to the website shortly. All right, we're gonna go ahead and play Be a Gangster. All his music's amazing, but if y'all really listen to his lyrics, man, Be a Gangster, he really has something to say, and it's a really good message. So y'all check this out, man. Be a Gangster by Harm Clark Kent.
Ooh wee.
That's not it.
I was about to say, hold on, man. He sampled some pretty good stuff right there, man. You better make sure he gets the clearance on that one.
Yo, let's do it.
You ain't gotta be a gangster, no, to not take no shit.
You ain't gotta be a gangster.
No, to not chase no bitch. You ain't gotta be a gangster. Just to be in the club, you ain't gotta be a gangster. To not show no love. First 5 years of my career, I wasn't feeling the best. Cause I was getting so much money, but I still was depressed. I'm doing detrimental shit, thought I was healing the stress. I look around, nobody here like this really success. Cause I had dreams of getting rich and taking trips with my bros, but I was chasing the bag while they was chasing the hoes. Man, it's the same old story, I know you heard it before, but when you live it for yourself, seem like your life is a show. I just be grooving, moving. Through this life, I'm on my business, what you choosing. You can catch me sliding, not hiding. Houston, Texas, Krogerville, where I reside in. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not take no shit. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not chase no bitch. You ain't gotta be a gangster just to be in the club. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not show no love. Bitches get too much attention just for taking they asses. And if you think that I'm lying, I got a question to ask you. Why you twerking your videos to promote them eyelashes? But I can't lie, when I see it, I be adjusting my glasses. They said I put on my students, started rumors, they fired me. I walked out with a smile, somebody already hired me. People calling my phone, asking about early retirement, but I had to get gone, just needed a new environment. I saw black kids trouble, same shit white kids were doing. I couldn't take it no more. I packed my shit and I moved back to the post side of town before they even could sue me for pulling little homie to the side and saying get used to it. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not take no shit. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not chase no bitch. You ain't gotta be a gangster just to be in the club. You ain't gotta be a gangster to not show no love.
Man, big shout outs to my guy, man, for real. Big shout outs. So that answers every question that's been hitting me up all day. Whose music I'm playing while Infamous Tex is on here. That answers y'all question right there. If I rock with y'all, y'all been rocking with me. I'm rocking with y'all, man, for real. That's what it is. Man, you surprised, man. Everybody been hitting me up, man. Yo, play my music. You have Infamous Tex on there. Play my music. I don't even know who you are. I never heard of you. You never even came to none of my lives or streams. You know what I mean? So I definitely got to rock with everybody that's been rocking with me. So big shout out to Harm Clark Kent, man, for real, doing this thing. For real.
Hey, homie did that, man. Homie did good. Hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Let's see. Man, how do you manage your personal life with your private life with what you got going on with your public persona?
Let me see. So I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm probably ain't the healthiest way to do it, but I definitely I don't sleep more than I really need to. You know, I try to get some sleep, but I can't. I try to fit everything in. I just kind of drink a lot of coffee. One thing I will say that I've learned, or I kind of realized this, you know, throughout doing what I'm doing, and sometimes it's a little, you know, people may take it a couple ways. Hopefully, nobody gets offended or nothing. But one thing I don't do the usual stuff. Like, for one, I don't like sports. I'm not into sports at all. So it saves me a lot of production time, not dealing with sports and watching games and stuff like that. Because again, to me, I see that as lost production time, especially if you root for a team all year long and then they don't win at the end. Or it's like, bro, you know how much stuff you could have got done in that time. But again, I thank God I was never into to sports to begin with. I don't have the patience. I'm very ADHD too. So most sports is not going to keep me sitting there. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my Houston teams and I rock my Houston stuff, but more for the outfits and stuff and because I'm just a Houston culture guy. But I'd say that off top, you know, I just don't have, I cannot sit watching baseball like that and all that. But hey, go Astros, right? You know, I'll drink to that. But, you know, I'll support and all that. But so I will say stuff like that. I stay away from. I don't do the average, you know, the average pops waiting to, you know, have the weekends and could barbecue and do stuff on it. I don't do any of that shit either. I'm not really family oriented. I will tell you like that. This type of career you'll lose a lot of family time anyways. I built a family within my team, right? Because teams win championships, family fight, you know, that's just kind of the facts. So I'm just not a big, really family oriented person. Let me see. And then just always I've said yes to so much stuff, and that's it's bit me in the ass a lot of times because there's been stuff where I'm challenging to get stuff done for so many people that I've said yes to. But you know, I do a lot, and I never say no to the OGs. You know, I've done a lot for Screw to this day to keep the Screwed Up Records shop, you know, flourishing. And you know, making sure it stays here, we don't lose it. You know, like the one Cullen and all that. Like we want to keep this here. This culture is important to us. Everything that Screw did too. So I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now had it not been for Screw or even South Park Mexican, because you know Hustletown Network had a lot of play on, you know, the Hustletown itself, the album South Park Mexican. So you know the OGs that paved the way. I've done a lot of stuff for them. If you go back and look at Hustletown Network, you know most of our most popular videos are going to be a DJ Screw title, something with SPM, or now That Mexican OT. You know what I mean? Those are most popular searches on there. But up before That Mexican OT, yeah, it was just, you know, a lot of the Houston stuff. So I did a lot of paying homage to the OGs from the very beginning. You know, even to this day, I'm still doing stuff for Point Blank, K Reno. If they hit me up, it's always going to be a yes. You know, so you know, I've kept a really good relationship with the streets. You know, no one can ever really say Texas using the culture for anything because I kept all the OGs will back up and be like, bro, you seen what bro did for the Screw Shop? You seen, you know, and stuff that I would spend months on working and not get a dollar. And because I'm just now learning how to do sponsorship stuff. Like I've done a lot of stuff you've seen. It was like 100% out of our pocket, or maybe we had a small amount of sponsorship just to kind of help us pay for gas stuff to get shit done. But to where, you know, the people that I worked with were people that had the same vision as me, that, you know, a lot of us didn't get paid at the beginning. A lot of us still aren't really getting paid. It's still a movement at the end of the day. Hustletown Network. You know, a lot of people I work with either have their own jobs or their own hustle, or their own brands. But we all understand that we all move together. All of our brands go to the top. And you know, Hustletown Network. At the end of the day, it's about the artist. You know, it always really has been about the artist and the culture. So, you know, all those things I say is what you know keeps me going. Again, like I said, check marks on all the OGs, so we're good over here on this side. Now the new school guys seeing what's happening, and just even the birth of you know, That Mexican OT on Hustletown Network, because you know he made his debut on Hustletown Network at the Exotic Pop Warehouse. You know what I'm saying? So it opened eyes, and everybody got to see it firsthand. An artist that was just like them in the same showcases as them, that blew up and made it. Now I've had over 1,000 something people perform on our stages. We've had one so far that has blown up. That just goes to show you how rare it is, but it's a possibility. And for people to see it and be seeing him work with me and work with, you know, Greg Gates and B-Don and all the people that he's tapped in with, you know, it's more motivation also. It makes me keep going. But I would say those are the things that sum up my motivation and you know, how my daily grind and how I keep going.
Yeah, I definitely dig it. I was gonna touch on That Mexican OT later on in the show, but since we're talking about him, we can bring it up now. Man, I feel like you were side by side with him as he was growing, man. So to be there with him, to through the ups and downs from the beginning to now, man, how was that feeling, man? Just to be a part of all that. Like you said, man, you had thousands of people touch the stage, and you had one to really just make it a commercial, you know what I mean, to really just make it. So to be a part of that, how does that feel?
Man, I get chills, bro, when I think about it, man, because it was an amazing experience. I want to say, he started with us a little over 2 years ago now. Right, 2 years ago. Yeah. So 2021. He made his debut 2021 on Cinco de Mayo. It's a crazy story about how that Mexican OT got into the game, because here's the thing. He would have blew up with or without coming to Hustletown eventually, but I feel like him coming through our platform and his manager sending him this way. Sorry, excuse me. We knew what we knew how to act fast on it, and we knew exactly what to do with him the moment we found him, and he came in our grasp when we were able to have him with Hustletown. We knew exactly what to do, and I felt that's what really elevated him in such a quick time. He would, like I said, he would eventually blown up had he not, but yes, it was the perfect formula, and we knew exactly what to do. So he made his debut. It was the Cinco de Mayo. It was the Pop Exotico virtual concert we were doing. So during the pandemic, all through 2020, we were doing like virtual stuff. We had a virtual studio, and it was no crowds. It was just performances, filming them, and then uploading them on YouTube and letting people watch from home, right? So we had just did a Day of Unity virtual concert. We did the DJ Screw one with all the Screw, the Flip and Bun B and everybody who performed on that virtual. Then we wanted to do the Cinco de Mayo. And so I was getting all the Latin artists, Hispanic artists, that got a name. And Peso was probably the biggest at the time that was repping Pop Exotico. He was more of the bigger name. Of course, shout out TSF, Peso, Sauce Walker, all them on that side. And at the time, Peso, we wanted to have his performance at the warehouse, but he had his ankle monitor at the time. And I'm just like, hey, bro, well, we'll still go filming at your pad. Like, I'm seeing D Green at your house all the damn time filming. Like, what's good? Well, I don't think our name was that popular at the time, and he kind of declined it multiple times. Now he's cool with us. I see Pace all the time. I do a lot of his personal, getting him on community events and stuff now too. He's family now. But at the time, I was like, well, shit, we couldn't get the biggest guy. What the hell? Like, he ain't finna come through or what? So I started going on social media, and I found a message from Greg Gates, which is that Mexican OT's manager, and saying that, Rockhead sent him our way and saying, hey, you guys, here's a Mexican guy you got to check out. And I listened to the song. It was La Muerte. It was a video, and holy shit, the second I hear it, I'm like, whoa, shit, this guy's good. And then in the song, he shoots a slug at Peso. And he says, Peso, ain't got nothing on me, something, basically saying he's the hardest essay, not Peso. And I'm like, holy shit, my Vince McMahon senses started going off. I'm like, if I put this guy on the show, he's going to not only steal the show, but he's going to steal a lot of the attention from that side to over here. And I knew it from the jump, and I'm like, fuck. So I went ahead, and of course, I put him on. And I didn't put him on even as the headliner. We had like Brick and Wolfpack and all them headlining, and Little Mexico headlining. So I put him on like midway through the show. And sure enough, he stole the entire show. Everybody was commenting. It was all about him. You know what I mean? Of course, they shout out some of the other guys on there, but it was just who is this guy? And then, South Park Mexican, he has his channel where he's able to watch his own stuff. He's smart. So he, the channels and the frequency, 59 point something, He bought his own that he was able to pick up where he's at. So, and on those channels, we play a bunch of Hustletown Network stuff for him and other stuff that's popping in the city. So I get the call from SPM. Who's that Mexican OT guy? Like he's amazing. The way he rolls his R's, like he said it all from the jump. And this was 2 years ago. So I called OT with SPM on the line. SPM and OT was always the most humblest guy, bro. He may come off as a cocky guy. He's cocky and confident, but he has a reason to be. And he was even back then. He knew he was saying he was finna shit on the whole city even back then. I'm like, okay, I mean, I believe it. Cool, But and he did. He ended up doing that. But so yeah, I called him with SPM, and he talked to him, and they got to talk for a while. Then they built a relationship. And then we put him on the Day of Unity festival that SPM does every year, which now he's getting introduced on stage to all of the SPM fans. And let me tell you something, if you're a Mexican artist and you're coming out of Houston or Texas in general, you have to get the SPM fans on your side. That's the only way you'll even make it. You can't be a SPM hater. You have to gain his fans, because if his fans fuck with you, now you're going to get out of Texas. You're going to go in, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. You're going to get into all these other regions, even Cali, that listen to his music. So that was the easiest train he could have rode to get out the city, was that one right there. And so, you know, now he got the SPM fans, and he was performing, doing a bunch of stuff with SPM kids. And then, you know, by less than a year, within 9 months later, you know, the labels are calling the station, you know, program directors. I'm getting calls from Terry Thomas and other people like, hey, this Mexican OT guy, do you know anything about him? I'm like, yeah, he won our stuff and da-da-da. So, you know, they called me to kind of see what I knew and all that. And then within about maybe 2-3 weeks later, you know, I get the win that, you know, and nobody was supposed to know this for months, that, you know, he ended up getting signed to through Interscope, another label through Interscope, Gaffin. And he was working with Johnny Shipes and all these other people. So, but it was all under wraps really for a while, bro. So, I mean, it was just exciting because it all happened really within the first year. We're on our second year now too, but the second year was developing him and finding till we finally got that breakout record, which was the Johnny Dang record. You know, and I've said on multiple interviews, even since last year, before the Johnny Dang record came out, I even said on an interview before, I said, you know, these are the coldest guys, you know, in the city. And OT was one of them, but I straight up said, I said, they're all, one thing they all don't have is a radio hit yet. It's coming. We know it's coming, but it's not here yet. And I was right, because it may be about 4 or 5 months later, they cut the Johnny Dang record, and that was the one that took off, you know. But, and I knew too, when I heard it too, I'm just like, okay, it sounded like almost kind of his other stuff. But once I seen the momentum and all the press packets coming out with the instrumental and the acapella, all the deep, I'm like, holy shit. And then I started paying attention. I'm like, oh, and then yeah, after that, the Johnny Dang records really got him all over, because people had been knowing him for multiple years, or for 2 years already, you know, around Texas regional. But this is the one that really took him on to where every race knows him. You know, now the kids, because if you get the kids and the TikTok kids and all that stuff doing your shit too, you really made it. Like, if you want to know who's the hottest artist right now, ask the kids, ask your kids, ask our kids, ask the little sisters, all that brothers, sisters. They'll tell you what's really kind of what's in. And that's what, you know, that's what radio looks for too, is, you know, what's in when it comes to the younger demographic. Of course, they still service us, but it's really, you know, the younger ones are the ones that are that young 20-something-year-olds are the ones that the labels look for. You know, the young, and they're like, ooh wee,
got somebody.
It's real in the Northwest.
Yo, Fat Boy said, you pulled up to OG Point Blank celebration Saturday?
Yes, I actually got to do his commercial here. I'm glad you reminded me. I got to do a quick little video drop. You'll probably see it on social media here in a little bit. Right here where I'm sitting at. I've been telling him I got to get him something too so we can promote it. But yeah, I'm gonna be there. We got a few stops on Saturday that day, the 11th. But he's definitely, I'm gonna be there too. So I'll be in the house, man. Let's take some pictures. Let's do it, man.
Yeah. And Leo now is watching on Facebook. He said, how do you stay motivated in such an ever-changing industry?
Understanding the industry as far as how fast it changes. Like you said, ever-changing. Man, this is a very fast. I mean, the generations are moving so quickly. Okay, like just 2 or 3 years ago, that's a whole nother. The people who were into Lil Pump and Lil Xan and all these other guys, that's already a whole older generation now at this point, right? They're just new generation. So just learning what's hot, keeping up with hip hop, not being mad about what's hot in hip hop. That's the first step, because a lot of us older cats aren't really. Sometimes we don't feel that shit on the radio, but it's understanding why it's on the radio in the first place, and how to navigate it through it. I mean, you can either want to get down with what's how, if you really want to be big on the radio, because I get a lot of artists, man, how can I get on the radio? Well, you got to get like what sounds like what's on the radio these days. I'm not trying to say you have to sound a certain way, but you kind of do. Like, you got to at least blend in. Like, if your shit stands out and it sounds like all of a sudden, like, oh, what's that? You know? So I would say, you know, not going against the grain and trying to be, you know, I get it. There's a lot of artists like myself. When I was an artist, I was trying to bring back the real and bring back old styles that really they're not going to come back. We're not going to have the SUC days no more like that. We're not going to have that when Paul Wall, Slim, and everybody in the mid 2000s were blowing. We're not going to have that no more. That was a generation. That was an era, but it's not going to be like that no more. No matter how hard we beg the stations to bring it back to how it's just really not. You know, now we just got to support the new artists like that Mexican OT, D Baby. We got to not be haters. You know, if we're a certain age now, and you know, and age really isn't a thing either. But I will say that hip hop is a young man's sport. I mean, hip hop especially is a young man's sport. You can go in the country and rock and do it and be 40-something-year-old, 50-year-olds rocking out all year long. But in the hip hop, it really is a young man sport. And the more of us that can start transitioning now into being managers and finding that young talent instead of trying to make it about us all the time and trying to still blow ourselves up at 35, 40 years old, then hey, I feel like that will be a lot less stressful life, a lot less stressful living. And I think that's it's just understanding everything and why, you know, why radio plays the songs that they do. I mean, it's a corporate thing. You know, the labels are the ones who, you know, send the hot records and which ones to pull this one. Now we're going to play this one. And it's that's just kind of how it works. And it's a system as to why a lot of these songs have been tested very well. They get tested, Shazammed a lot. Some of these songs, like people, you want to wonder how to get your song big. If that thing is getting Shazammed all over, but from all over regional, you can't just cheat and be doing it at home all the time. So you got to be at that. They look at all that stuff, and that will determine, okay, what's hot, who we need to keep our eyes on, you know, stuff like that. Maybe I don't know if I'm getting too off topic, but that is something I would just say is just getting knowledge, getting all the knowledge and getting informed, because a lot of artists are misinformed about how radio and records and record labels and all that really even works. You know, we watch movies and we think that you can literally just go to a DJ and give him your music because we saw it on Hustle and Flow. There's a reason why he's giving him a cassette on Hustle and Flow. You know what I mean? That was an old day thing. Now since the past 20 years, it hasn't really worked like that at all. So, you know, that's not a really professional thing to do. You can ask Michael Watts right now. He'll tell you straight up, but I'm sure he hates getting fucking singles thrown at him like that, or like, hey, here's my song. Like, especially in the club in the wrong time, in the wrong setting, to be, you know, doing it. So it's just, man, learning the etiquette about the hip hop scene. And yeah, it transitions a lot. You ain't gonna lie. Like, it is a 15-minute of fame of game type of thing we're living in. Whoever's hot this year probably won't be hot next year. You know, they come and go.
I'm glad you explained how all that worked, because I just learned something new. Leo just said he learned something new. So that was very informative. So I definitely appreciate that. I was definitely one of those guys, man, that went against the grain, because it's like, for me, we experienced the era that you cannot duplicate, right?
Yeah.
So but man, I've been trying so hard. But now I'm at peace with, you know what, that era's came and gone. We enjoyed it. So I'm at a position in that piece where I'm just looking for that next young talent. You know what I mean? And for instance, Mason Your Face and Reggie, man, Harv Clark Kent. These, I don't understand how they aren't on the dog's radar. You know what I mean? These radios and this and that. But just the way you explain it, I get it. You know what I mean? But it's just so much talent out here that's like, because there's some things that's on the radio that's straight trash. Real. That's straight trash. And then it's like, I deal with artists that's like, on the radio, you know what I mean? It's crazy how it works. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, hey, real quick, just to add on to about what I mean about like the young man sport. Like, we grew up, you know, listening. Like, I'm still a Tupac, you know, Biggie. I love lyricism too. You know, I mean, even though I'm a Houston as fuck, a lot of people will tell you that, you know, Tex ain't like that. I mean, I do respect the legends and the OGs and all that. But a lot of those guys, even when they were doing music and they were on the radio, they were 23, 24 years old. You know, Biggie died at 24 years old. You know, that Mexican OT, he's 24 years old. He's young. They're young kids. They're still kids, technically. Tupac died at 25. You know, so, but they were on the radio, but they were young, right? If they had still been living, they would have already, I'm not gonna say been washed up or nothing like that, but they would have, a new generation would have already came in, and their records would have already started to, and then they would have just been classics later on down the line. They would have been on, you know, the classic hip hop stations after a while, still doing interviews or something, still kicking. But they would have no longer been in the spotlight no more, because eventually the things change. T.I. no longer in the spotlight. He's kind of an OG. You may see him pop out every so often, but he's not just in the spotlight all the time no more too, because it's all now the young guys. Like I said, new generations come in, and they're all young guys that really blow up. These guys, like even the Baby or Lil Yachty or whatever, all these guys, if you really look at their ages, they're not, half of these guys ain't even in their 30s yet. And I'm like, I trip out, but that's what I mean by it's a young man sports. And the labels, they're looking for these young guys, and to be honest, they're looking for these young guys really so they can fuck you. That's what they want. They want the young guys first, because all the guys that went up, let's just say like this, like Paul, Slim, all the guys, when they were in their early 20s, they got signed to these labels, Mike and all them. They went, did the label thing, and then what they do? They come back a couple years later, fuck the labels. It's all about the independence, and they all learn that. Most artists learn that the hard way. They get a label, get with label, but they get you while you're young. They can't get a label can't fool me or you right now, so they don't want us. You know what I mean? Plus, the kids aren't trying to buy me and you right now. They want to buy these young whatever. We don't even know what their swag is. They got these whole different. You know, I had to learn how to hang around Peso and all these guys and how to get hip with them, period. Their whole slang, everything. It's a whole different, like, we can't even fuck with it. Trust me. These guys are dripping for real. We just got to sit here and just be OGs and be like, look, be honored that we're still in the game. Be honored we're still rubbing shoulders with some of these guys. And if these guys even look up to us like an OG, because some of them don't even know or care. Like, they don't be really understanding how important Pac and SPM or these other people that came in the game, they really don't care, bro. And to be honest, you really can't blame them, you know, because it's their era. They were raised a whole different way. So, one advice I would just say, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's artists that are in the 40s and 50s that had like a hit song 20 some years ago. If you got to that certain level, I would say definitely still keep going. We still have, you know, a lot of guys that are here regional that have big noise and still have fan bases. I would say keep going. You know, Perfect K, my boy, The Damn Sin. We got Low G. You know, we got Rashi. We got K Reno. People that are still legends, but there's no reason for them to sit here and be fighting for that slot on the radio because again, it's still a young man sports. So just to be an OG in the game is like, hey, bro, you know, that's already a salute. But if we haven't hit that certain level yet, I think the smartest idea for anyone to do that's still trying to be in the music industry is just find the next talent and become a manager, bro. Because trust me, a manager or people like myself or Jay Prince or like Gold Toes, those names are going to be around forever. Rappers come and go. I'll tell you like that. Like, you can get your bag, get you a hit record that you can get streaming on for the rest of your life, cool, and then get about the game. Look at Chameleon there. He did the smartest thing he could possibly do. Got his bag, still making money to this day, but he didn't stick around and try to be still all in the picture once he was already out the top 10. Now he's trying to get back in and trying to still be at, man, he said, fuck all that. And that's transition. What I feel like that's how we should be. Just my opinion. That's how I feel like once I started doing that, for some reason, all the stuff I wanted actually started working. I started getting all the blessings I wanted. Stop being stressed out, and it just things work. Now they work now, and it was like, oh, okay, all this time I didn't know that was what I was supposed to be, but now I get it.
It's all about that's a good point. It's all about transition. And look at 50 Cent, man. You know what I mean? He did his thing in the music game, and now he got all these business ventures going on. You know what I mean? So, same thing with Paul. These local legends, man. So I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Has there ever been a time where things didn't go as planned, and how did you learn from that?
Yeah, man, I get a lot of that sometimes too. So I've had a couple of different shows that I've done that we tried out here or there, and we end up discontinuing them. One of the first ones that comes to mind was so the Straight Outta Texas brand that I have now. It's went through multiple phases and different type of shows. Of course, it was originally a record label. Then I brought it back as a top 10, like a top 10 music video countdown show. And then once that started to dwindle out, I turned it into a live showcase after the pandemic and doors opened back up. I started doing like live showcases and calling that Straight Outta Texas. Well, there was a point in time before I actually brought it back. This was in 2018. I started this top 10 music video countdown show, and we called it Straight from the City. And this was something I collaborated with another artist, Candyman. He was from the North Side, and he was, someone that I remember back when I was young trying to come up. I remember him being the man out there in the North Side at the time. So I collaborated with this artist, and we were doing the top 10 music video countdowns show. Well, at the time, when I first started Hustle Town Network, I was never trying to be in front of the camera. I didn't even want to ever be in front of the camera, to be honest with you. I always wanted to be behind the camera, like on some Russell Simmons shit or something. You know what I mean? Like, just, hey, thank y'all for coming, and that's it. Like, that's simple. But let the talent do their thing. So I would write these shows. I would do the whole scripts. I would film them, edit them, and do all the work. And we got up to about 5 episodes, and then we started kind of having issues as far as conflict. Just a bunch of, really, it was just a bunch of ego stuff. Again, I'm dealing with a rapper, and and rappers, a lot of rappers are emotional, and so it was a bunch of back and forth, stuff to where we had a fallout. I just wasted, all this time developing this show. I did 5 whole episodes on my time that didn't come out the way I wanted because of the way now it's like, well, shit, now I'm not cool with the host no more. How are we going to do this? So it was called Straight from the City. So what I did was I ended up relaunching it again as Straight Out of Texas. So it was just a Houston from the city, Straight from the City. Well, I said, well, shit, I already got my own brand and it's called Straight Out of Texas anyways. It still got straight in it. I'm like, so Straight from the City, Straight Out of Texas. Now it's even bigger. And now it's all Texas artists. So I relaunched the same show. It's having a press reset, which a lot of artists don't want to do that. It's just like losing your music in a hard drive. Like, fuck, man. Like just having to go from scrap from 1 again to 2. And it sucked. It did not go the way I planned, but it was a lesson learned. I don't regret none of it at all no more because it taught me the importance of learn your business, learn, paperwork, and learn to understand what's what, so it don't become some hood shit where y'all sitting there arguing and fighting over who did what and threats and all, you know what I mean? Like, so it was a big lesson, but yeah, it didn't come out the way I wanted, but it ended up coming out even better, became a better blessing because it became bigger. And we Straight Out of Texas was now back in the scene again, but now it's the name of a show, Top 10 Music Video Countdown, and hosted by myself and K-Dog. So now I'm in front of the camera. Didn't want that to be a thing, but I ended up becoming good at it. I was nervous at the beginning. I mean, if you look at some of the old episodes of Straight Out of Texas, you'll see, I mean, there was a lot of cuts and edits in between just me talking. I would have to fix it up and clean it up, but I was not as groomed as I am now. Now I can it's like a switch. I can just turn it on, boom, and just roll. But and it developed me to what I am now. But yeah, that was something I would say that did not go as planned. It was a lot of time and effort that was like very discouraging once things fell off, because I literally had to pretty much block all those episodes on YouTube. So I got 5 hour-long episodes of just time wasted that I ended up having to block. The only reason I had to block it too is because, they were trying to reduplicate my show and steal my stuff from, someone else, I guess whoever else he was having at the time that was, doing the editing and helping them out. They were basically, it was kind of like, we're going to go to war. We're going to go against you now. I'm like, oh man. So I didn't pay no mind. I just did my thing, switched it to my own name, rebranded. And again, it was a tough bite. It was a tough shit to bite on or whatever, but hey, it worked out for the best. I do what I do now, so it worked out even better. But yeah, man, stuff like that. There's times where we deal with stuff like that, and sometimes we got to go ahead and just say, fuck it, press restart. And you don't understand how much that can be a blessing sometimes. Yeah,
I definitely dig it. Leo, this is a good question from Leo. He said, if you can go back to your beginnings, what would you change and what would you keep?
I definitely would have started learning the business side, definitely in my 20s for sure. Because like right now, I guess, I don't know, I guess I screwed off a lot of my 20s. I would start a lot earlier. I was more focused on just determined on knowing, like, I'm gonna make it in this music industry. I'm gonna do. Yeah, I wish I would have known the steps, because once, like me right now, knowing the steps that I do, being in radio, holy shit, I wasted 15 years because I would even had a chance, because I didn't even know how to legally even get myself in that position to be, in the radio, stuff like that. So I would say just being informed at a younger age, and instead of just being fascinated with being in the studio and then going straight to performance, and we do all the fun shit, but when it comes to the reading stuff, that's where a lot of us artists get screwed and waste a lot of time, because we don't want to look into how all this works. Fat Boy's right. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of like the standard. It's like we fuck off our 20s, we use our 30s to fix our shit, and by 40s, hopefully we're all right. You're right. Yeah. But I would say that I know a lot of people who did start early, or who right after high school, they went to the service or something like that, and they're in a way better position right now. So you're right about that.
Yeah, that's a fact, man. I'm sure most of us can relate, if not all of us. I was a late bloomer myself, man. I'm 36, you know what I mean? So I'm just finally getting my life right in the past few years and stuff. I fucked around so bad. And that's another reason why I love doing what I do, man. I wreak so much havoc on this world, man. I was wild, man. So to be able to give back to this world and do good is definitely a blessing. Let's see. I'll say shout out to Jessica Jeans for making it happen. 979 The Box. Yeah, big shout out to Jessica Jeans for real, doing her thing. For real.
Oh yeah, she's killing it.
Let's see. We talked about the Mexican OT already. All right, let's see. Let's talk about the city, man. The city loves and supports you, man. If there could be something you could say to everyone out there, what would it be?
I'd say, let's see, man. I would say believe in support and believe in support and because we all know somebody who's doing music. We all know somebody who's an entrepreneur, right? Like nowadays, that's the most popular thing there is. I'd say don't doubt that person. I'd say, really, to be honest, I would say bet on yourself too as a person. We need more entrepreneurs. I say we need more people out here doing what we're doing, what you're doing, opening the doors. The age we live in right now, I mean, it's a very content-oriented type of thing. You have no idea. People can blow up just off of doing TikToks and different stuff. I've just seen so many people be successful with so many different things that, it's hard for me to just want to go and just go get a regular 9 to 5. Like it's addictive, man. Like this is a lifestyle after a while. And we the more we push and the more we see like the awards and people like you interviewing us and giving us the notoriety or, however you want to say the flowers, it keeps us going. And that's one thing I would say to everybody out there is just, hey, keep supporting. Supporting or don't doubt people, man. Trust me, I've seen some people just blow up or come up out of something that maybe they were going down the wrong track, the wrong walk of life. I was doing that, but hey, just have faith in people. And also, man, I want to shout out Exotic Pop too. Exotic Pop, that's they also been putting on for me for a long time. I'm trying to put Exotic Pop into just about every business out here in Houston too. So I'm pushing them as hard as they're pushing me. And man, artists people out there, anybody watching right now, just keep following, keep supporting, if y'all can help us out anytime we do the community time of the year too, that's the most important thing. If you don't go to the shows or the showcases and all that, the festivals, come out to the community events, even if it's just the support. I mean, even if you're not there to buy something, just support, share it, whatever we do, because that's something very important that we just need to keep that going in general. Like I said, I want to make that damn near like a hip hop law. It should be. Something that we should automatically be doing all the time. And yeah, man, I need to get some more Exotic Pop cups out there to you, man. I see it.
Facts, man. I would love to get Exotic Pops on the podcast. Let's make that happen, man. That'd be dope. For real. That'd be super dope.
For sure. Yes, sir.
But yeah, definitely the whole give back thing, man. I just had this conversation with my wife over last night. I feel two different ways about the whole giving back to your community. On one end, so for me personally, being from New York, if I was making them blow up, I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't go back to my community and give back. My community hasn't done shit for me. My community made me the person I grown to be. My community turned me into a monster. You know what I mean? But in saying that, I would still give back, but not to where I'm from though. And that's just it's just me keeping it real. Like my community turned me into a straight up monster. And you guys will be hearing my story pretty soon. I'm gonna be doing an episode on my story. But I get chill just talking about my community. Like I hate where I'm from. I truly hate where I'm from. Like it turned me into a monster. And to be able to be here and have this conversation and do what I'm doing, it's a blessing. Cause I shouldn't be here right now. I shouldn't be here right now. So like I said, it's a what I mean, it depends on the relationship and how you feel about where you're from. But I would definitely get back, just not to where I'm from. Cause where I'm from, it nothing good. Nothing good. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, I know they tore down the spot where I was born and raised because it needed to get torn down. That's how bad it was, and it really ruined a lot of lives. Thank God we got out there at a young age, and I was able to come out and have other experiences out here in the Northwest area. But one thing I would say is that I would definitely not want other people to come out from where you're from to feeling the same way too. If we can find ways to stop that, because we don't want more people feeling like the way you feel about that. Whether that's standing with people who are in the politics of trying to change that area too, or just whatever. Just to still, we still want to have change if we can. I know maybe it wasn't the best experience out there, but we still, at the end of the day, we don't want more people having experience or having to come up the way we did too. I mean, and things have been changing. I want to say people like me and you who grew up in our era definitely experienced some really street shit back in the day compared to probably how things are now. But we definitely want to keep making progress really all over too. So we can change the way people perceive where you're from or how come out the same way too. Hey, even that's a plus, and maybe it may not come in the form of giving back and all that, because that may not do nothing for the for the community. But if there's ways that we can still change it, whether it's standing with someone, politically, because a lot of us don't get into politics like that, to be honest. We don't care who's died, everyone da. But a lot of that does matter too. And then there comes that time of the year where the whole voting and all that. And I'm not about to get into that because I myself, I voted maybe like once or twice in my life. I don't really be on that either, but I do know the importance of it. And I do deal with a lot of political people that come into the station that talk, and I get to hear all kinds of ethnicities from different hoods, regions. And one of the most important things I will say is that, to avoid having people that got experience, what you had experience and what I've had experience. I mean, I would still do what I can in that aspect. Again, if it's not even giving back, but it's maybe supporting someone who is trying to change that, hey, I'd still be with that too. I may not have the time and effort to do it no more. I may not want to even be fucking around over there. But hey, if I can still better the kids who are coming up in that hood, that's where I feel like where it should be mentally, And then you're out here now, so again, you came from the East Coast area where now you got a whole new life now at this point. But if you could change any other upcoming, some kids or anything that are coming from where you're coming from right now, would you do that?
Oh yeah, facts. Yeah, for sure, definitely.
So I think that's really mainly what it's all about too, because I mean, community stuff may not change kids. Getting a free toy here and there may not change them. Getting a free bike from IJustGotHere.com may not actually change their actual lifestyle. But the laws and the policies and politics and stuff, and having programs, community programs for the kids, after school programs to keep them out of gangs and stuff like that. That I'm all for all day long too. And however I can help, again, that's not my lane, but if I can help, at least be there and stand next to them and while they're all doing their speech just to show support, at the least, I'd be there doing that. So that's the main thing I would take from that. And then again, man, like we want to keep changing hip hop. Hip hop is being a lot more safer. I mean, people are still getting killed, all that too. But and then these young kids too, there's a whole nother level. It's just a newer game. It's really ain't the same. We're not killing each other over Jordans and shit like we were back in the day. It's just now it's envy, social media, it's trolls on social media. It's just a whole different game. It's just moved to the web, basically, like MC said. A lot of the gangster stuff moved to the web, and they're out there shooting each other out here in the streets in reality. So
it's crazy,
man.
It's crazy, man, for real. It's wild, man. Man, I'm glad we touched on that. I'm really glad we touched on the whole giving back thing, for real. Let's talk about your legacy, man. What legacy do you want to leave, and how do you want to be remembered?
I definitely want to change. I want to continue. I want to be able to make a big change in the Houston culture and the Texas culture, which it's already been happening now because we've been getting a lot more spotlight on people in areas that need to get spotlights on. But I know the main thing is that, I want the name to be legendary. I want to be on them like the DJ Screw Wall one day or something. I want to be able to be known like and honored in those ways like that in the hip hop community, and known for doing, the Infamous Tex, annual something. If I'm gone, I want to have these different programs and stuff that go on, community stuff that go on, Hustle Town Day, Infamous Tex Day, whatever. I do want to have those legacies that are left behind, because one thing I will say is that, people like myself who do make these type of changes in the hip hop scene, they usually don't live very long. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I don't know, health wise or whatever. I just go about my life, right? But for the most part, if you go back in history, a lot of the ones that did, like even DJ Screw, who changed the whole Houston scene, died at a young age. We got a lot of people that changed hip hop in general, like Pac and all these other people who came in that spoke wisdom or just changed how things work. They didn't live long. So my main thing is that like when you see me working the way I am or being all over the place and text, how do you, man? Where I do it like every day is my last day. I do it like I may not be here tomorrow too. That's why I'm trying to do it while I'm still young and while I still can, because maybe 5, 6 years from now, I might want to just sit in the office, go home by 5 o'clock and turn off the phone after a while. But while I'm still young, I'm going to do it like every day is my last day. So my takeaway, what I want to be left behind is solidified. Like I feel like already right now with what I've done, I'll still be somewhat of a legend in the city, but I want to keep going. I want to be a legend to everybody. Like right now, I'm known to most of the hip hop artists, and the hip hop artists are known to the fans. The fans don't really know these other names like Tex or They may not have a face for some of these other names that are people be in the behind the scenes. They just may hear their name shouted on a record here or there. But for the most part, I'm more known to by the people that are in the scene, working the scene, or the artists working the scene. So I want to be known to all of them, even the hip hop fans, who may not, like, I didn't really know much about Screw until after he passed. Actually, I knew who Michael Watts was first before who I knew about Screw. But that's because I was from the north side, from the northwest side, went to school with Cam, Paul. My first introduction to that was Swishahouse. But once I dug into learning about Screw, holy shit, I'm a huge Screw fan, way more than Swishahouse. Like, you cannot compare a Screw tape to a Swishahouse tape, in my opinion. Like, it's just something about the South Side. Holy shit. It's timeless. It's timeless. It really aged very well. And some of the other tapes on the North didn't age as well. If you go back and listen to some of the tapes, it don't sound like you would the same vibe as a Screw tape. So anyway, I want people to go back and do their history and still be like, damn, this guy here though, did you know about this guy? So that's pretty much the takeaway, bro. What I want to be left out there, and what I hope happens.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Like I said, you definitely deserve it, man. You've been doing so much for the city for so long, so much for Texas, so much for the industry. You know what I mean? So definitely big ups to you, my guy, for real, for real. Let's talk about this generation coming up. What advice would you give to the next generation coming up trying to pursue their goals and dreams?
Maybe let's see. I don't want to be cliche and just say like, hey, find your own style, but that is kind of the truth too. You can't reduplicate something that's already been done. We've tried it. We've been trying it for years when it comes to the scene out here in the H-Town scene and stuff. It was a thing that kind of came and went. I would say just, you never know what's going to be the next thing to blow. So don't be afraid to try new stuff. Don't be a hater. We got people that start off as haters and turn into players. Don't be a hater first. Learn to be a player and give everything a chance, and understand that everybody has a different, maybe a different sound or something. Maybe it may not be your thing, but you may be jamming it later on. I don't know. I don't jam Tejano music like that and all that other shit like that, but I just recently started listening to Grupo Frontera and all these other guys. Now I want to start managing some of these guys. I'm missing out on a whole industry, a whole market of money right here. Oh, there's so much money I'm losing by not entertaining the banda stuff and all the other stuff that I may not personally like, but there's hella money right there that I know if I get into that market, shit, if I manage one of them, that's what's popping right now, to be honest with you. Like, most of these Spanish groups that we may not even heard of, none of their songs, but they're selling out at the rodeo, So one thing I'll just say is keep an open mind to music, the entertainment industry, and just have an open mind towards creativity in general as a whole, and and of course, digging into some of the old classics and the history that doesn't hurt. Going back and listening to Pac and understanding why they're legends. Going back and listening to Big L, or what's the other ones? Rakim and all that. Like, hey, the East Coast, some legends out there too. And I had to go back and learn myself. My very first album that I bought, one of the first ones was the Tupac Life After Death album. He had already died when I got put on the Biggie. You know what I mean? Same thing with Pac. They were both already dead by the time I actually got put onto them. But I went back and did my history so many times, just like I went back and did my history with the Screw tapes and learned how things progressed to the way it is now today. And you got kids that are still sampling Screw stuff, like Travis Scott and all them guys that when they started that, even that's a whole other generation already. Now it's a new generation since Travis Scott. But they're still, to this day, they're putting this melodic little sound, and it's still alive to this day. So I don't know if that answer was all over the place, but yeah, man, keep an open mind to creativity as a whole, because you don't know what's going to be the next thing to hit, and then don't be a hater, because you don't know who's going to be the next one to blow. And you want to always just be supportive. I'm supportive to all the Houston artists as much as I can be. As long as I can. I can't get my eyes on everybody, but for the most part, I know where my eyes need to be at, and I'm still as respectful as I can to mostly everybody I can, if I can keep them all happy. But yeah, that's what I'd say.
Well, I definitely dig it. I like what Fat Boy just said too, man. Don't glorify the street life without preaching the possible consequences. That's a fact. Man, I wish somebody would have told me that when I was a kid. Oh my goodness. Man. Yeah. Before we close out on this, Who's been your number one supporter and thus far, and what would you like to say to them?
Two people. Well, two people I'm gonna shout out. The fans of the Hustle Town Network, and when I say the fans, I mean the artists. Artists have been my number one supporter. Like, they supported just about anything we do. They show me love, and they keep me fueled. They give me the fuel I need to keep going and keep putting on for the artists, right? Because, even the hip hop fans too, but the artists are the ones that really look up, support what I'm doing, and they are the number one supporters. And then of course Jessica Jeans too, for always just believing in what I was doing and changing my whole mind frame to what I'm doing now. I didn't think I'd be doing this. I was still thinking I was going to somehow be doing music and somehow involved in just that. My mind was so small, just stuck in here at the time. So I didn't really understand how much bigger it really could. And she was the first one to really see the potential and change my whole mind frame and my whole way of thinking, and not being such a negative person and things ain't always da-da-da and it's always this for me. I was that guy at one time. And so I'd say, yeah, Jess, and then of course the fans who to this day now keep it going for me, were the biggest supporters.
That's dope. That's dope. I definitely dig it, man. In saying that, we're gonna go ahead and close this episode, man. Brother, I appreciate you, man. You don't even know, man. You're one of the people I look up to in this industry. I love what you got going. I model what I got, what I do, just like basically how you got your stuff going, man. I model me through you. You know what I mean? So keep doing what you're doing, man. You're killing it. I wish you success beyond your imagination, brother. For real, just keep doing what you're doing. The city loves you, and man, I still give you your flowers while you still here, my guy. For real, for real. Everyone watching, we are live on YouTube Music, and Facebook, man. If you're watching on Facebook and you enjoy what you just seen and what you heard, go ahead and share that for us one time. Let's get this episode out there. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you guys. Hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are listening to us on YouTube Music, I appreciate you guys. I know you guys been a row. I got a lot of trucker friends and everything. My podcast goes where you go. In saying that, right. This episode is brought to you by the Episode Podcast, HoustonCityBeat.com, Storytellers of Houston. This episode will be put up there in the next few weeks or so. In saying that, episode 90 is a wrap, man. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Infamous Tex, man. Blessings to you, man. Once again, congratulations on Man of the Year award, whatever. That's dope, bro. That's dope. And one more thing, I'm up for 2 awards this year. SLM Awards. Y'all can go vote for your boy. I'm up for Best Podcast and Best Host. Jessica G, the best host. So that's dope right there. Just to be mentioned with all these Houston greats that's been doing it for years. You know what I mean? And all these Texan greats. So y'all definitely go vote for your boy, man. SLM.buzz, man. Voting 3. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Infamous Tex, man. I appreciate you, brother, man. We've been trying to get this together for a long time. We finally made it happen, man. For real.
It's in the bag. It's good. We got it. That's right, man.
For real. Appreciate it. Yo, hey, stand up.